and that's Parks. Being my first Kickstarter, I'm really happy with it. I'd actually decided to make a Kickstarter and back this because because of the game. But it was just I just got floated my way because of the whole tie into the national parks thing. You like part of the sales go to or like donated to the NPS, which is cool by me. And I don't. It's not like I needed an extra excuse to back a cool looking game, but it was nice. And this game is perfect for getting people to back it because it is gorgeous. I know that's one of the most common and lauded things about this, but it's well deserved. Everything in it looks beautiful. Keymaster really took advantage of their partnership with 59 Parks, using all the different artists to make the game look cool because they use it on everything. The box, the cards, the like every card too, not just like the Parks cards, like everything. Even the inside of the box, this outside, this inside of the box, and inside of Nightfall as well, have it's one of the things that's on the card, but like that's cool. And such like it's all such like iconic imagery too, and just the overall production of the pieces are. The cards feel great. It's like I don't know what it is exactly, but it's like that textured card stock that if you're familiar with the Pokemon TCG, like my other videos, like a full art, you got a full art Pokemon card, it's got that texture to it. It's like that kind of material. Even the instruction booklets, it's the textured. It's not just like regular paper. Even the instruction book feels good. Everything is just nice. The pieces are like. They feel good. All the resource tokens are wood. I think like all the hiker tokens are wood, but it's like slightly different. Hiker tokens feel good to move. Like everything feels nice. Everything just feels nice. Everything looks nice. It's so clean. I love when games have like spots for everything and like there's spots for everything on the board. In the game insert itself, the box insert is really clean. Everything is labeled. In the tray itself is labeled. Everything fits so nice. The first player token is metal, which like adds just a little bit of extra joy to my monkey brain. I don't know, it feels better than cardboard. Just like it's metal. It's neat. Just, those little touches that other board game people know what I'm talking about, right? That's not just me. The resource token trays they're like. How cool is that? It's like a little tree. It all fits in there. It's so neat. Each individual wildlife token is unique. Just little touches like that are what make stuff like the overall production design just like outstanding. It deserves every ounce of praise as far as that goes. You even get a little postcard thing that I don't think this is just for the Kickstarter. I'm trying to leave like that stuff out, but. Except not that, because that came with it too, actually. I didn't even think about that being right behind me there. But I think this is a little like, it's supposed to be like a Polaroid photo of it's a Great Smoky Mountains, which is the one on the front, but, little cute things like that. I feel like I'm going on like way too long about the production value as far as like the actual like game and how good the game is, but I think when you have production design and quality of components and everything like this, I think that it truly does, when it's this good, I think it truly does improve the game experience. Like an Azul, like think of how less fun Azul would be, and don't get me wrong, I love Azul, first one in Summer Pavilion. I love Azul, but just imagine how like less special. I'll say less special. Imagine how less special Azul would be if it didn't have those pieces. If it didn't have those pieces, that's what makes it really. That's what makes it stand out. I think it's the tiles, man. I don't know what it's weighed at. But if you play board games, it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. But still fun. It's a pretty like basic game, especially the base game. It's you go to a spot, you take that action, that's it. It's really straightforward in that regards, and there's just enough conflict with like the blocking or campfire to sort of reverse a block in a way. There's just enough conflict there that keeps it from getting slammed with what do they call it? Multiplayer solitaire, like people call Terraforming Mars is a good example of that, which maybe I somewhat agree with, even though I also love Terraforming Mars. Like I mentioned before, the campfires are just a really smart way to, it adds a layer, so it's not just it's blocked and that's it, and it kind of like just adds another sort of step to the thought process. Since everything feels so nice, like the resource tokens feel nice to grab. Even the photos, they're like the nice little like, ooh, they're photos. And also these are all unique too. There's tons of these photos in here. There's like, I don't know, a couple dozen tiles of the photos and they're all unique. Like, what? That's crazy. The pulling parks cards because they're nice and big. They're nice tarot sized cards. They feel nice. Everything feels nice. So you feel like validated in any action you take. So I guess that's another example of that production value elevating the gameplay. It's a good length game too. I think solo, I can do it in maybe like a half an hour. With friends, depending on how I've only played it with 3 max, and so that's like maybe an hour or so. So good, not too heavy, not too bulky. You can fit it into most game nights. Where the game really shines for me, though, is the artwork, but also the theme and how it just bleeds through everything. As I mentioned before, I love the National Park Service, and anything being a board game about them that isn't just like a retheme of Monopoly or something like that is cool with me. And it's that it's fun to boot is even better. Actually, when this arrived at my house, I was traveling across the country and visited many national park that are featured here. So it's nice. It's nice to add quite a few to as you go through the deck. It's nice to add quite a few to be like, oh, I've seen that. I've been there. I like the vibe of the national parks, which is just see these cool things that we have preserved, enjoy nature, be chill, and just have a nice time. And that's the theme of the game too, and that's like how I feel it goes into the gameplay too. It's designed to be nice and feel nice and look nice, and that's kind of what the national parks are. So when you play this, it feels like you can, and it's not like you're actually there, but it's like you're embodying somebody doing that, and you feel that sort of like pleasant, this is nice. It's all about having the best trip, and all the things that you do make sense. You get a canteen, you get some water and you put it in the canteen. You literally put your water in like the little canteen. There's a spot for it on the cart. You get gear to make it easier for you to hike. It's maybe I'm getting too deep into it, but I just like that everything flows really well. It's really clean. It radiates chillness. It radiates chill vibes. It's very similar to another chill man's game, to Kaido, especially in the marching down a trail, blocking people stuff. Different in the actions. It's not more like where that's like if you're going for one thing, you're pretty much going for that. I feel like you're more open to, I feel like in Kaido, if you don't get the thing, like maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3 sets that you're going for, if you get blocked in the next leg, you're kind of screwed. I feel like you have more options. It's more open to kind of branch out or like spread out your point allocating ish. There's not as many specific avenues as there are in Kaido, so it makes it easier to just kind of spread out your points, so you don't feel as screwed if you can't get that one spot. You're just like, oh well, I can still do that, and that's okay. I would say that on the flip side, maybe that general just kind of whatever it's a pro and a con. As much as I like that laissez-faire sort of just do what you want, you can do whatever, it also maybe could use with a little more direction, or maybe just a little more meat in what you do going down the trail. There's a few unique actions, but maybe it could use a couple more. And don't get me wrong, I haven't lost interest in the game. I've played it a half dozen times or so not a ton, but can you blame COVID and all that? I haven't really had much opportunities. But every time I do, it's like I can't fight the feeling that there could be something more. Which brings me to the real reason for the Kickstarter, Nightfall. Does it fill my missing meat? Sort of. Wait, what did I say? Nightfall's main addition to the game is the campsite board and the various actions you get with it. The various bonus actions you get with it, which sounds like an answer to my prayers as far as like how I was saying you need a little bit more to do. It doesn't quite do what I want, I suppose. It since it's an either or thing, you either take the action or the regular site action. The first time I played with Nightfall, it felt like too much. I didn't know which to do. I feel like the campsites haven't been used that often in games, and when I do, it's almost like it's because I'm like, oh, I feel bad for them. They're just sitting there and nobody's ever using them. That said, they are useful, but I don't know. Sometimes it feels like, well, I'm gonna get a weather token if I do that one. And I don't know. Sometimes it doesn't feel like they're worth it. I feel like I sound really nitpicky here, but because I appreciate the game for its chill vibe, adding that extra layer like kind of betrays that a little bit. So it's not awful by any means. I've warmed up to it, and it's easy. It's still a pretty easy game if you play games. But is it essential to the overall parks experience? I am more than glad to have plenty more beautiful parks cards to look at and a few more nice chunky pieces to pick up. But had I not done the Kickstarter and everything, if you just have parks base and you're asking, do I need to get Nightfall? I think the answer is kind of sadly no. I don't think so. It by no means makes it worse. I would say I would just as well play it with or without it and be fine. Which isn't bad. I think Parks is great. I think it's a great game. So in a way, Nightfall is great because it's the same, it's on the same level. But it's its own thing, it's separate, so it's unnecessary. If you are a completionist with your games, you won't be disappointed getting this for Parks. But if you just want to experience Parks to its fullest, I think you get that with the base game. For me personally, again, if I hadn't backed it with the expansion, from the experience I had, I wouldn't feel an urge to get it. I would personally be okay just with the base. Again, I like that I have this. I like that I have the expansion. Honestly, my favorite improvements made by Nightfall is the best one, I think, is the Wild Love optional rule, which you obviously don't need this to use. I think it was just a smart little thing to kind of fix a little maybe minor flaw in the original rules, where like, yeah, because it does feel like the wildlife token should, it makes sense. It just makes sense for the wildlife tokens to be worth a little more. My other favorite improvement is the year cards. I wish there was a way to integrate them into the base game without having to worry about setting up the extra stuff, so you could just decide if you want to use either year deck, but you obviously need the campsite stuff and all that to make them work. But I like the idea of the incremental rewards instead of just the set thing as in the base game. And also the idea of switching out, trading them in, or getting more, because you could get dealt some crappier cards at the beginning, and it's those can sometimes be a tiebreaker, or a game winner. So it's nice that you have the option to do that. And for you solo players, sorry I didn't cover it in the how to play. There is a little bit more to those rules. I don't know. Not having done these before, I wasn't sure if that's what you do, if you're supposed to include those or not. But it's good. I like it. It's got an AI deck that fills out randomly depending on how you play. I am a big fan of AI decks for solo play because I do a lot of solo play games. So it's nice when you have something that's different every time like that. It's pretty good. It's not too challenging, which again I think kind of just fits the vibe of the game. So I wouldn't really count that as a knock. But solo also gets a good mark from me. In the end, if it's not obvious, I definitely recommend Parks. 8 out of 10. J-Spot seal of approval. I have no idea what rating system I'm going to be using for these. It's not a heavy game that'll get your gears turning, but it's so short, simple, sweet, charming, with the slightest hint of complexity that I could see it fitting into any game night I have with my various game groups. It's got a bit more than your Game of Life or Clue or Monopoly, but if you and your kids are familiar with games, I think it'd also be perfect for family game night. It says it's ages 10 and up, and yeah, I can see that. As long as you know your stuff. I have tried playing hobby games with plenty of non-board gamers, and I learned that their tolerance for certain stuff is a little different. If you're watching this, I'm assuming you do play games. As for the Nightfall expansion, while not an essential piece of the Parks puzzle, it does add a couple neat variant rules and additions, and tons of pretty things to look at. Plenty more pretty things to look at. And you Keymaster completionists wouldn't be throwing away your money if you got it. Also, for you fans of the national parks and the National Park Service in general, as I mentioned at the top of the video, 1% of each sale is donated to the National Park Service to make you feel better about yourself, spending yet even more money on another board game. Instead of putting it towards things like food or gas or insurance or rent or the electricity bill or the loan on your car that you're pretty sure you paid last week, but then you got that email saying that your direct deposit wasn't working because it turns out you had that other loan default. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed, whether you're new to the channel or not. Again, please consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and definitely leave a comment below about your thoughts of this new format for me. I would really like some feedback on this one, especially. Was the teach too long, too short? Did I go too into the rules or too light on it? I don't know, just coming from my side. I've watched plenty of how to plays, but coming from my side, it's new to me. Was I too derivative of other popular board game reviewers? Was it entertaining or a slog? Most importantly, did you get what you were looking for out of the video? How do I say that? You know what I mean. Did you get what you're looking for out of this video? There you go. I think that makes sense. Feel free to leave any questions about the video that I may not have addressed. Believe it or not, as deep as I did go into the rules, there was plenty that I left out. So if there's anything that I can answer, leave a question and I'll do my best to help you out there. Oh, and what should I review next? That's another good one. I have quite a few, I think 5 more Kickstarters coming over the course of the next few months. They keep getting pushed back, you know how Kickstarters do, but should be getting those relatively soon. I also got 2 more games grouped with this Kickstarter because I'm an easy get. Campy Creatures and Parks Memories, so related to this. both from Keymaster, obviously. So those are options. I also have plenty of other just, games in my collection I could review. Anything that comes to mind, just feel free to throw it out there. All that said, I'd like to invite you once more to my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/jspotjackcheese, to come play stuff with me and my friends. I do a lot of Among Us and Jackbox Party Pack with viewers. So just stop in if you like, leave a follow over there, or even better, subscribe. I also have a Facebook and Instagram. Links to all that stuff is in the description below. And I also threw in a link to a page to donate to the NPS, just for the heck of it, because why not? With that, I'm out. I have a kitty that you may have heard whining throughout this video. Because she's not feeling well right now. Oh. With that, I'm out.